It's not that he's holding us back, but he's preparing me to live better. Hello peeps, I'm currently discovering that the roof is very low. Anyway, I could feel my hair brushing on it. Thankfully I decided not to wear a messy bun today, or we would have had some bigger problems to deal with. Welcome back. It's been a long time since my last video. This might actually be one of the last videos in this car, because this car is officially finished. It's time. I'm going to sell it to the wreckers, probably, and get a new car. It's broken down one too many times now, so it's on its way out, which is kind of sad because, like, this is my first car, but it would be nice to not break down anymore. I thought today I could do just like a sit down talking video, because I've been reading my Bible. I feel like God's just been teaching me a lot of really cool things, like he always is. And I'd just maybe share some of them with you. I'm just going to pray, and then I'm going to peek into my notebook and decide what I want to talk about, and then I'll get back to you. So, we are going to read Deuteronomy 30, verse 6. The title of this kind of section is The Blessing of Returning to God. Here I'll read some other parts of it from earlier. And you return to the Lord your God and obey his voice according to all that I command you today, you and your children, with all your heart and with all your soul, that the Lord your God will bring you back from captivity and have compassion on you, and gather you again from all the nations where the Lord your God has scattered you. Later, at the very end, if you obey the voice of the Lord your God to keep his commandments and his statutes which are written in this book of the law, and if you turn to the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. And then verse 6. And the Lord your God will circumcise your heart and the heart of your descendants to love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, that you may live. I just feel like this whole passage, this is Deuteronomy 31 through to about 10. I just felt like all of those verses, they were all kind of just saying, like, with all your heart, with all your soul. Like, God just wants all of us. Like, that's what he wants. He's not asking for a certain level of performance. He's not asking for perfection. He's not asking for us to be, like, as holy as him. He's not asking for us to never sin. He's asking for all of us. When we give him our all, and when we become fully devoted to him, like, those other things are gonna naturally just follow as a result of loving God and being his, and our hearts being, like, renewed in his spirit, and for us just being close to him. Because when you're close to God, like, God is holy, God never sins, he's beautiful and he's patient and kind. And so when you are in close proximity to God, I think his ways start to kind of rub off on us. It's like if you're around a certain friend, or like someone, their ways start to, like, rub off on you. Like, if you're around someone, say for a negative example, if you're around someone who, like, curses a lot, personally, I've found if I'm around people who curse a lot, that's going to start to become more natural to me because I'm in that environment, and so I'm starting to adapt to the environment. Whereas if I'm in an environment where people are, like, wholeheartedly seeking God, it's gonna become more natural in me to have more passion for wholeheartedly seeking God. I always think there's a car coming, I'm so paranoid. I might just close these. It's not as hot anymore. Focusing on Jesus is just gonna start to heal so many other parts of you, just by being close to Jesus. Anyway, I feel like I've already gone off on a tangent, but I just pray that the Spirit will, like, speak through me, and that I can just encourage someone. I'm gonna look at what I wrote now. And why does God want us? He wants us because he loves us, because he's a jealous God. That he doesn't just want us because he's a jealous God, but he also wants us because he loves us and he knows that he is the way, the truth, and the light. Is that the word? Light? He is the way to light. Life. True, like life, right? Jesus is the way to eternal life. So he loves us enough and he wants us because he knows that through him we can have life. By life I mean like something deeper than our existence on earth. Like if he didn't love us, he wouldn't care if we... He'd be like, oh, I don't really care if they want to remain dead in their sin. He wouldn't care, but because he loves us, he can see, like, he wants us to experience the goodness of his grace. I haven't really, like, I know sort of what circumcision is, but I haven't looked into it that much in detail. So, but I do think it has this sense of purification. Like when it says in verse 6, "And the Lord your God will circumcise your heart and the heart of your descendants, to love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, that you may live." It kind of sounds like God's going to circumcise our hearts so that we may love him, so that we're able to love him with all our hearts and all our souls, because sometimes there's like stuff that's keeping us back, like holding us back from giving our all to God. It might be like an idol in our life, it might be a sin. Also, as I'm thinking about it, like circumcision in the Bible, like the physical circumcision would have been like a really painful experience. And so when it says that he's going to circumcise our hearts, it's like cutting away of what is not, what he doesn't want there, and that is usually going to be like a painful thing. Us being tried like and tested and purified and refined, that is hard and it's painful because you're growing and things are being like stripped away, and but there's like this new thing happening, and so it's like joyful at the same time. Sometimes we have to allow God to work in us and allow that painful thing to happen and allow the hard heart work go on before we can truly come to a place where we love God with all our heart and all our soul, because God stripped away those things that were taking that place or trying to fit in with God. It can sometimes feel like God's holding us back when he's doing this, because he might be preparing you for something. It can feel like God's like, oh, not letting something happen that I want to happen, but really he's preparing me, and it's not that he's holding me back, but he's just preparing me to live better. If there's like a surgeon, right, like the surgeon can't just like, I want to be a surgeon, I'm just gonna go in there, get stuck in. There's a lot of hard work that goes in before they become a surgeon or they actually get to go and pursue that. I think it's the same with things in life. Sometimes we want something so badly and it's like, okay, especially for me, I don't know, I think I'm quite an impatient person. I am always trying to live in a more patient way and way more submitted to Christ, because it's so easy to try and take control, because I see something that I want or see something that I desire, or I have this feeling of I want to be there, or I want this to happen, I want to go to this thing, anyway, whatever it is. And then I'm kind of like, right, I'm going to do this because I have this like desire in me and this passion to like go get this thing. God's kind of like, yeah, I've given you this desire, but delight yourself also in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. I feel like I've got on a really big tangent here. It's not that he's holding us back, but he's preparing me to live better. And I think we need to remember that God isn't impatient, but he's excitedly waiting for this thing as well. He's not indifferent to our desires. He understands what it is to want something. And when he puts a desire himself in our heart, I think even more so, he's excited for that to come into completion. He's not asking the world from us because he knows that we can't give it to him. He's asking for us to sit in prayer. He's asking for us to connect with his word. He's asking for us to just give him us. It's like such a peaceful place to be, and I feel like I always am struggling with this. I'll get into these places of like frustration and impatience, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna take so long for this thing to happen, and like I've just been waiting for so long, and I have to wait for so many more days and weeks and months. It's so unpleasant being in a place of impatience and being in a place where there's like this friction between the spirit and my flesh. And it's the coolest place when God overtakes all of you and you're no longer controlled by impatience. Like it's almost just you're above it and out of it. And you become so focused on God that the other things kind of fall away. There is a massive falcon. He's literally in there. No. Killing a bird. Oh no! Should I go and save it? Look! Oh my goodness. Oh! Ah! I don't want him to come in the car. What? Hey! Nika! My word. He's gonna come back. I have to protect the quail babies. What if they're injured? Shall I go and see? Guys, I think I've kind of said everything I wanted to say. Probably really soon. Oh, he's coming back! I've said everything I wanted to say. He's over there. This is an amazing video. I love Jesus so much. I love you all. I'm gonna go protect these quail babies now. Pray for me. Hope this encourages someone. Just thought I'd quickly tell you, I think the quails were alright. Yeah, just thought I'd better, not leave you hanging.